Did you know this is one of the hardest plants to grow, but also one of the spiciest cabbage you will ever taste?
Today we are in a wasabi farm. We are in UK and we're going to talk to an expert to show us the step-by-step of how to grow it.
So we were first inspired to grow wasabi by a chef that visited one of our watercress farms. We've been growing watercress for a long time. Some of our farms date right back to the Victorian period. And when a chef came to visit, he said the only thing I've ever seen growing like this is wasabi in Japan. So we thought, maybe we can grow wasabi. And so we did. We started with a small patch of wasabi growing in a watercress bed. So we start with a small plant that will plant into a gravel bed. So we raise our wasabi out of the water. We plant them into the gravel, as you see here. And then a lot of it is leaving the plant to get on with doing what it does. We supply it with nutrients and minerals from the water. There's big gravel below these beds that allow the water to travel underneath. From there it draws nutrients, minerals, dissolved oxygen, and that gives it what it needs to thrive. So wasabi takes a long time to grow. You need to keep wasabi growing for a minimum of 18 months, and it'll often go up to 24 months depending on when you plant it, the climate during the time that it's growing, and the variety. It will grow. This plant here is a year old. So a plant that's coming up to harvest won't necessarily be a lot bigger than this, but it will swell at the crown of the plant. So down at the base, where the leaves have fallen away during its lifetime, much like a palm tree, it leaves a stem. So it's that stem that we're looking to harvest. And after about 18 months, we would come in, we would go down, look at the plant, check that there's a rhizome there, a stem, and then we will pull the whole plant out of the ground. We might clean the leaf off first so that we can sell the leaf separately, and then we'll pull the whole plant out and we clean it with a knife. You take off the top, leaving some stem, just as you see the pictures of the wasabi. Clean off all the roots and then clean it up with a brush. You don't normally harvest during flowering season because it will be taking a lot of energy from the stem, and you might have less flavour and less heat in your wasabi. Now we have our freshly harvested plant, and this is how we go about preparing it, ready to grate and to eat. So we're going to remove the stems, the leaf stems. Let's put those aside for using later. The way we want to start grating is underneath these stems. This is the most recently grown wasabi. This is where the paste is going to be at its sweetest. You don't have to take off all of the skin. This one's only been cleaned on the farm, so I'm going to remove a little bit more. And then we've got a nice place to start our grating. We call it grating, but really it's more like pasting. This one doesn't have any holes on the back. You're just pasting it. So it's the finest teeth. And then you work it slowly in a circular motion so that while you're pasting, you're also mixing. And what we're doing is we're breaking down the cell walls to bring an enzyme that lives in the cell walls, myrosinase, into contact with a compound inside the cell, which is a glucosinolate. When those two react, they form a sulfur compound, isothiocyanate, and it's that brings wasabi the flavour, which is sucrose, and that brings the sweetness. It takes about 5 minutes to reach its peak. It will stay hot for 15-20 minutes, and after that time, the flavour will start to disappear. And after half an hour, 45 minutes, you'll be left with a cabbagey flavoured taste without a lot of heat and without a lot of wasabi flavour. So that's why sushi chefs will always grate the wasabi little and often.